Alrighty everyone, welcome back. It is now June 9th of 2023. We are just getting closer to the Ahsoka Tano series with each and every week that passes by. The marketing by Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni so far has been fantastic. They're filling the fans in, really keeping them up to speed, exactly what their goals are with the Star Wars universe and what's coming on the horizon. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future Star Wars updates. I'm also on Twitter at Mike01. I thank you all so very much for the great and kind support. And looking at Indy 5 specifically, we know that this movie, which was mainly run by Kathleen Kennedy, both on a creative and financial level, this is exactly why Kathy made the wrong call through the marketing of Indy 5, where you don't really see all that many TV spots playing on television all that much, or you're not really seeing all that many ads on the internet, and a lot of people are coming forward to me saying the same exact thing, so there's a lot of problems going on with the marketing for that film. But that brings us to one specific development that has a lot to do with George Lucas himself and what's been going on behind closed doors. Now, we know one thing here about Bob Iger, is that he has made endless mistakes before in the past, that he is now trying to correct the wrongs through a lot of apologies that a lot of fans are not buying and calling it out, and a lot of last-minute decisions. We'll talk about that at another point in time. But what's interesting here has a lot to do with the Indy 5 ending, George Lucas's reaction, and exactly what happened between himself and Kathleen Kennedy, and more. Now, right now, Disney and Lucasfilm are getting ready to make some big announcements for the fans by this September. With Kathleen Kennedy busy with Indy 5, however, one big development involves a moment that happened behind closed doors recently concerning Indiana Jones 5. Now, not too long ago, George Lucas held a meeting with Disney when they were going over Kathleen Kennedy's final decision on the ending for Indy 5. Initially, Kennedy had promised George about using a specific ending that would honor both Henry and Dr. Jones, father and son. A reunion where they both sat in a plane that would lift off the runway into the sunset with the famous Indiana Jones theme playing. However, Kennedy broke that promise and chose a different ending that favors Helena to be the focus over Indiana, and that the send-off for Dr. Jones is very weak and dry. Now, Lucas reportedly had a very big meltdown in the Disney meeting when they confirmed which ending Kathleen Kennedy had chose, to the point that Lucas was said to be acting near similar to the parody video he took part in with the creators of Robot Chicken. Now, let me just stop right here for one sec. Now, if you guys have never seen George Lucas act, and I say act mad, I mean in the form of a parody, go ahead and search up George Lucas Gets Mad or George Lucas Gets Angry. That'll give you good reference material to see what an angry George Lucas really is like, and what it was like behind closed doors over at Disney. Except the video that you're going to find when you search that up, just be aware it's a parody, that's not something that really happened. But that's to give you an idea of what the reaction was like. It was reportedly just like that. Now, moving to the next thing here. Alright, this is where things begin to get a little bit more complex. Now, the thing about George Lucas is that he and Kathleen Kennedy did have a full agreement. They even shook hands on the ending where Henry Jones was going to be recreated through CGI and deepfake technology, and also new strategies provided by ILM. Alright, Industrial Light and Magic had a revolutionary technique that they were going to use to bring Sean Connery back into the mix as Henry Jones flawlessly, where he was going to be either used as a vision or some kind of apparition appearing before Indiana inside of this plane. Alright, it was reportedly a biplane-like aircraft with 2 seats inside of it, so I know biplanes usually only have 1 seat in the front, so it may have been a similar yet different type of plane. But moving to the next thing here, alright, it was a short outburst that George had that led to an argument between himself and the executives, and that now it has been made clear that this is why George did not attend the world premiere for Indy 5 at Cannes Film Festival. He refused to go and did not want to take part in any interviews or on camera at all, since he was overly emotional about the decision that Kathy had chose. Now, this is the second similar promise with, of course, Kathleen Kennedy and George since 2019's The Rise of Skywalker, where both Ben Solo and Rey were supposed to live, and the Force Ghosts were supposed to come to both Ben and Rey's aid, fighting Emperor Palpatine on Exegol. This was deleted at last minute by Kennedy, where the new Indy 5 ending that Kathy chose also disrespects the theme of Indiana Jones and even goes as far to have very cringy-like dialogue toward the ending scene itself. Now, here's the problem that lies within Indy 5. I don't know if you guys looked up any of the clips or any of the scenes that have been released by Lucasfilm and Disney, but if you guys want to go ahead and check out a Indy 5 clip, search it up, let me know what you guys have to say about that, because if you do, you're going to find that it's very stale, it's very lackluster, it feels like the magic is gone. You can even sense that Harrison Ford almost sounds like and looks like he doesn't really want to be there. Almost like Harrison just took this job as a paycheck. And that's almost really what it kind of feels like, to be honest. Now, when we look at Indy 5, there lies another problem. Alright, now James Cameron, of course, even spoke about this a couple of months ago, about how Indy 5 was one of those other examples of how it was in production limbo for a very long time, and he himself had experienced that with his own movies. But looking at what was happening with Indy 5 is that there were numerous endings that were shot. A total of 4 so far. Reportedly there were 5, but the 5th one was only partially shot. Like, we're talking about a couple of frames and sequences here and there, so it wasn't like a full ending yet. But so far, 4 full endings were created, and 3 of which did not honor Indiana Jones. One of which was the one that was really going to honor everything. Now, the thing about the one that now honors Helena over Indiana was Kathy's decision between herself and even Mangold. Alright, now Mangold, the guy who created the movie, really wanted a different outcome for the ending of this film, and it was really out of his hands. I mean, he was begging Kathleen Kennedy to keep the ending in which Dr. Jones steps inside of this biplane-like aircraft, sets off the runway into the sunset, turns his head, and sees his father as an apparition. Mangold wanted this. He was arguing with Kathleen Kennedy. He was really pressing for her to keep this beautifully shot ending that was really going to resonate with fans, and it was going to boost, fan engagement levels, and it was going to keep the fans interested, and it was going to be a proper send-off. And already now, we have Kathleen Kennedy surprisingly talking about creating Indy 5 sequels. And look, I don't see them making a sequel at all if this movie's gonna bomb at the box office, or if it's gonna have a horrible fan reception. I really don't see them making sequels at all. And if they do, well, you know what? They can laugh it off, and they can just make their own mistakes then. So, guys, I'm very much intrigued to hear what each and every one of you have to say about this below in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys next time.